Now, an Emeritus Newsbrief, I'm Lynn Huston. Democrats succeed in preventing Republicans from killing the economic stimulus plan. Democratic Majority Leader Harry Reid says the stimulus has broad support.
Madam President, I appreciate my friend from Maine mentioning the letter from the Chamber of Commerce. This is a strong letter. You cannot find a company any place in America that doesn't support this legislation because they know it's going to create jobs. The National Association of Manufacturers support this legislation. Big businesses, small businesses support this legislation because they believe that help really is on the way.
But Republicans say it's full of waste and could be better spent in the private sector.
The Congressional Budget Office reported last week that the stimulus bill will create temporary jobs that cost as much as $300,000 apiece. And then it will reduce jobs permanently compared to no stimulus bill at all.
The stimulus plan won 61 votes to 36 votes, 3 Republicans joining Democrats. The final vote still scheduled for Tuesday, with supporters hoping to work out House and Senate differences to get the stimulus to President Obama's desk by the end of the week. In the first news conference of his presidency Monday night, Obama says the bill does not contain pork barrel projects and other wasteful spending as opponents claim.
This is another concern that I've had in some of the arguments that I'm hearing. When people suggest that what a waste of money to make federal buildings more energy efficient. Why would that be a waste of money? We're creating jobs immediately by retrofitting these buildings or weatherizing 2 million Americans' homes, as was called for in the package. So that right there creates economic stimulus. And we are saving taxpayers, when it comes to federal buildings, potentially $2 billion. In the case of homeowners, they will see more money in their pockets, and we're reducing our dependence on foreign oil in the Middle East. Why wouldn't we want to make that kind of investment? Now, maybe philosophically you just don't think that the federal government should be involved in energy policy. I happen to disagree with that. I think that's the reason why we find ourselves importing more foreign oil now than we did back in the early 70s when OPEC first formed.
Obama continues his stimulus sales pitch in Florida on Tuesday. Florida is one of the country's hardest hit states due to the collapse of the housing market. Major layoffs, Nissan Motors cutting 20,000 workers worldwide, and late word that FedEx will be laying off 900. More details on the Emeritus News employment page. The Labor Department says the number of unemployed older Americans with a college education is rising faster than the nation's unemployment rate. Also, the majority of all employees laid off during the recession have been men. Total unemployment increased more than 50% from January 2008 through last month, but the number of jobless Americans age 55 and older jumped 70%. And for people age 55 and older with a college degree, the number rose even more sharply, by nearly 85%. The Government Accountability Office says backlogs at Social Security offices will get worse unless the agency hires a lot more staff over the next 5 years. The GAO says Social Security will experience an agency-wide retirement wave in the coming years. The agency projects that 44% of its staff will retire by the year 2016, just as a bigger wave of baby boomers begin their retirements. Also on the Emeritus News homepage, elder abuse cases rising in one major city as services for the elderly are being cut. And options for health insurance if you become unemployed. The latest on the biggest issues and public policy at emeritusnews.com. That's an Emeritus News Brief. I'm Lynn Huston.